and stuff. And I think about 10 years ago, I started to think for the first time about the gold I was using, and I'd heard stories about gold that was probably not brought to the market in the correct manner. We'll just put it like that. So I was approached by an NGO called Solidaridad, and they were working with fair trade, and they were basically going to the source of unregulated gold mining areas, which in the end become quite big, even though it's more like individuals. But and so I said, I want to go. I want to see what that means. So this is me down a mine with a miner, and I'd walked 2 miles into that mine, and it had nothing, no supports. I went in with my brother, and he left because it was really, really frightening. And but I thought, I've got to do what these guys do because they do it every day, and it really emotionally affected me and the whole trip. Now, so there we are at the entrance of that mine, and just in the area. But it's sort of, like I say, I came back and I thought, right, you know what, this needs to be something that people talk about. And this group with Fair Trade, Fair Mind, and this sort of NGO, what they were doing was going into these communities, which was appalling. I can't even tell you, it was appalling. Apart from the fact that everything was stained red, all the earth, because of mercury just slopping around everywhere. And it was like being in dinosaur times, like the Flintstones. And of course, everybody's, earning $1 a day. So I kind of came back and I started to talk about the fact that, this needs to be something that we look at as jewelers. And like everything, it's not like I'm saying I'm a do-gooder, but I couldn't really get a lot of traction. And more disappointingly, I think at that time for me, my clients didn't really care. I thought my clients would really care, but they didn't care because I had a fair trade sticker on my, everything. And but it didn't really mean much to people. But I think nowadays, it means a lot to people. I mean, I know here we've got, I'm sure amongst you here there is a generation, and maybe not just a generation, just make people who know how important it is that these things are addressed best they can be. There's no way that jewelers or the jewelry industry can sort of work their way through these communities and say, right, it's all cleaned up now. It's not, but I think it's more about paying attention and really making sure that the materials you work with, it's not just gold, but gold was this story for me. And, so we try as a company to be, using as much as we can as recycled, which actually now is quite available and relatively easy to get.
So the standard is not substantial transformation. That's Mark's point, is we would like to move to be in harmony with the rest of the world and move into that.
Exactly.
Standard.
We're trying to show them that it's not this mythical topic that somebody came up with that the rest of the world is using. This really is true. This is not the gold that came out of the ground that's being sold to someone as a piece of jewelry. It's absolutely not. There is no more stronger level of documentation of transformation than what we all do in this industry, and to not recognize that is completely wrong.
So talk about that though. So you've used the words, a lot of them resonate with me given what I do, right? So you've used the word identity, self-expression, brand. We have so many choices out there in terms of buying something that is so easily recognizable and confers status on people. Yours is very different, right? Yours is as you said, it's unique, it evolves, it's individual. When did you get comfortable with that? Or are you comfortable with that?
I don't think I'm ever that comfortable. I think that's part of my personality, that I'm a little antsy and I'm always that perfectionist that just drives something overboard. And I think that's why I had to have my own team and our own craftsmanship, because no one else would redo my work like 3, 4, 5, 6 times till we get it right. And it was easier to just have my own team And so we're very proud of the fact that we make everything locally in our shop to this day, 20 plus years later. You do know that. You know, you learn a lot how to navigate a business, and you know, you're challenged, you're really tested. I will say that you are tested as an individual, your choices in life, until it's there in front of you, which path you choose, which one you want. Are you really willing to do the hard work and, you know, give up, you know, all the velvety stuff just to have that authenticity that you've always believed in? And do you want to continue that message and your own journey of what's to unfold? And so, hence again, the Wonderland collection that I have. So that's part of the whole conglomerate answer to your question.
About a microcosm. We're going to look at Brooklyn as a microcosm of a macro trend that's happening simultaneously between makers or designers and consumers of fine jewelry. And that's that desire to buy local, know the people you're buying from, understand whether their morals align with yours. We're seeing this happen in groceries. We're seeing this happen in supporting the local shop on the street in your town rather than buying something off of Amazon. We're seeing it in lots of different ways. But for the next hour, we're going to have a discussion. Questions and answers can happen while we're talking. It's not a monologue. It's not even just a discussion between we guys up here. It's an idea of, what do you guys think about this? And we start with Brooklyn because, as in any examination, to look at something specific and in detail gives us some clues and gives us the ability to maybe say, okay, if that's happening here, how is it being mirrored in the greater United States jewelry market and even the greater global market?
Stakeholders in that discussion themselves. So that is essential for sustainability, but to scale that, we need you to be involved in that conversation in order to engage in that degree of transparency in that economic kind of pricing model with us, so that that model can be scaled out. And that I see is a role that's not just for the upstream scaling, but again, we need the downstream to be engaged to do that. And that for us is the pivotal thing. And we've had pioneers, Hoover and Strong, FDJ Co in Toronto, but not everybody can be a pioneer. So in our experience as well, if you work through a network and many small, medium enterprises come together, the risk to one company is reduced. So how do we work together collectively to scale this in a way that makes economic sense for everybody?
So we'll finish off. Why should you do this? We've heard this all this morning and all yesterday. For me, it's good karma, but it can get customers into your store. It's very attractive for millennials. You don't need to go full fair trade or fair minds. You can try one collection, one line, or even just one piece. Just start off. The journey starts with the first step.